Eugene, everybody suffered a bit over the lockdown, but I think gyms were one of the hardest hits. And on top of that, professional fighting, which is another source of your income, it was gone as well. So pretty bleak times for city kickboxing over the last couple of months.
Yep. You hit it on the head. It's true. Like you when you can't when our customers can't access the service, you're kind of legally obliged to like shut down all your membership. So it a little bit decimated us temporarily anyway, because you literally go from whatever you're making to like zero straight away, which is a real shock. But look, we're still here, and there's people that suffered a lot worse than I did at the end of the day, so I just have to be thankful for what I've got, and we still came out the other side and we're still moving forward. So my heart goes out to people that are in many people I know that are in a lot worse situations than I am. So at the end of the day, I'm still blessed to be in this position. Yeah.
It was good for me to walk in here and see the fighters class and the vibe that was there. It was like nothing had happened. What about your other classes, the learners and things like that? Has everybody come back?
Yeah, so like this is the first week we've been open, and obviously to only 100 people. Okay, so we've got to shuffle people in and out, pretty cleanly. But the classes have been reasonably full and picked up over the week. And I think as people get more comfortable with the situation, I think more and more people will, start returning back to the gym. The membership, I lost members, and that's understandable. People are going through hard times, hardship. They can't keep their gym membership up. But it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And from the response I've had so far, like, people are keen to move on. People are keen to get on with whatever lifestyle they were enjoying before. So I'm pretty hopeful that they'll return back to the gym and martial arts, and that all the gyms can return back to normal. So I'm hopeful of that.
Eugene, I've known you for a long time, and I think this would be definitely the longest time you've ever been out of the gym, probably in the last 15 years. What did you do with your time?
Yeah, so I was pretty stringent. I took everything pretty seriously. So I literally stayed in my house, the whole time. Stuck to the guidelines to a T, apart from going up to the supermarket. So yeah, spent heaps of time with family, and I felt that was really good for me. It makes you reflect and realize that not everything's about the gym, and like you have to put time into your family. I've definitely realized that since the lockdown, and I'm definitely going to make a more conscientious effort to be at home a bit more. I can be guilty of being a bit of a workaholic, so that's one thing I learned. But other than that, I was at home. I threw myself into a lot of the management side of things to do with the boys and fighting, and that was really cool to really dive really deep into that for the whole time of lockdown, and that's tough work too. If you're serving a fight as well, I was ending up doing 8-hour days on that. So I really enjoy that, but this is my passion. This is where I wanted to be, so I did miss this. So it was a productive time off, yeah.
Well, all that practice, the management side, when do you get to, I guess that's happening now, that you're getting a chance to put that into operation.
It's been a pretty hectic week in terms of negotiations and people flying over there, not just for the UFC, there's some other overseas promotions. A lot of wheeling and dealing and negotiations going on behind the scenes. First came off the rank is obviously Dan Hooker, so we got that across the table and got that signed off, so he's barring some sort of craziness, that's his first cab off the rank.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I know there's contracts and everything like that, but I'm picking that things that, because things have changed so much, can you renegotiate or something like that? Because it's going to be much more expensive for you, time-wise and money-wise, to take your fighters overseas, and when you come back, the quarantines and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, you know, if you're any kind of astute manager in this game, you realise that there's extra costs at this particular time, particularly if you're coming from countries that have this mandated lockdown or quarantine, and everything's open to negotiation. So, yeah, like if you understand what you're doing, then you're definitely taking that into account when you're negotiating these things with the UFC or with any fight promotion. So, yeah, all of that definitely has to be considered. That's a big cost, and it just can't be ignored. So, yeah, all those things have to be factored in for sure.
And I know that you're such a hands-on trainer. If you go away with one fighter and you come back and you have to self-isolate for 2 weeks, that's going to affect the next camp if you're rolling the fighters over.
You're touching on a massive problem at the moment. I can somewhat solve that because I have a proliferation of really good trainers that can kind of spread themselves out a bit, but at the same time, we have to give the guys the strongest opportunity we think that they can win, so we want certain people to be matched up with certain people. And yeah, there is some fight negotiations going on that I can't talk about, but that is going to be a big factor, having to come home, self-isolate, and miss out on guys training that are preceding the fight that I'm just quarantining for. That's going to be an issue, but this is how we all make our living, and very similar to the standard that the UFC set, it's about solving the problem and moving forward, and we're taking that same attitude with this. So we're trying to do everything that we can to solve all these little problems with quarantining and being away from camps, and move forward and get these guys supporting themselves again, making a living. So yeah, we're making a big effort.
The fighters, how long do you think it will be before you can have them all rolled out and given them some of them the first fight of the season, of the year?
Excuse me. Yeah.
Or when would you like that to be by?
Within the next 8 to 12 weeks, let's put it that way. We typically, a lot of the fighters here stayed fit, but when you're in that situation, when you're in that isolation and that lockdown, it's a very different kind of fitness when you're in your garage and working out yourself. Very different to the fitness that we require to compete in these events. So even though they might have worked themselves into a good base fitness, we still have to tap on, at least 6, 8, 12 weeks, depending on what condition you're in. You just can't get around that unless you're willing to sacrifice the quality of your fight. So within 8 to 12 weeks is hopefully I've got everyone up and running and scheduled again and ready to fight. Yep.
At the moment we're still in our own little bubble, but they're expecting to open it up to Australia. What's the story with Joe Lopez and Alex over there? Have you been in touch with them?
Yeah, I talk to those guys every day or every second day. Alex is in the middle of negotiating a fight for himself, or we're negotiating a fight for him. They're under a little bit different conditions to us. Like at the moment, they've got no contact training at all. I mean, and people have to understand that New Zealand's done, we're ahead of the world in this, and we've done a superb job at containing this, and so we've been able to come back to normalcy a little bit earlier than everybody else. Australia's a little bit behind us. There's no contact training yet. That, all those sort of stringent, things, guidelines that are put on them is kind of going to obviously affect the camp. So it might mean Alex having to push his date out a little bit, but we're working on negotiations with getting him a date and an opponent and making it workable. They also have a very good system over in Australia. As you know, they've made dispensations for NRL teams and stuff. There's no reason why Alex that won the world stage, can't be applicable. That can't be applicable for him. Those sort of dispensations. Yeah. So it's all in the works for Alex.
Thanks for talking to us, Eugene. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I mean, yeah, thank you for everybody out there supporting us. We're still moving forward. There's heaps of exciting news coming regarding fights and stuff. The gym's going well. Make your way back to the gym if you're members. If you're not members and you want to become members, make your way back to the gym. I've got heaps of exciting things happening, new classes. I got heaps of new. I got a bunch of young, exciting fighters here training, who you're all going to hear about soon, and they'll be mentioned in the same light as Dan and Israel and stuff. So there's heaps of development going on, and yeah, just thank everybody for their support, and I hope everybody's doing well out there. So thank you very much.
Hey, thanks, mate. It's so bloody good to be back here.
Yeah,
talking to you.